With the Vancouver Canucks slowly filling out depth, they still need to add a puck-moving defenseman. I'm going to break down multiple options that could be on the Canucks' radar and their projected cap hits. Plus, Daniel Sprong speaks out on joining the Canucks. He speaks on his main reasons for joining the team and something that might shock a lot of fans. I'll get into this later on this episode. Before I start, I just want to give a huge shout out to everyone that's watching, everyone that's subscribed. It's awesome to see us hit our goal of 4,000. Seeing this community grow is awesome, and just seeing you guys enjoy the content and leaving comments, it's just amazing. If you guys are enjoying this, make sure to go down and hit that subscribe button. But with that, let's hop straight into the first topic today, which is the perfect puck-moving defenseman. Now, we know the Canucks have been filling out depth. We've seen them go out and pick up a ridiculous amount of defensemen. We've seen them sign Daniel Sprong, but the one thing they still need to fill out and to pick up is a puck-moving defenseman. Now, when you do look at Daily Faceoff's top remaining free agents, I'm going to work my way down this list and just kind of highlight some defensemen. The first one being on the left, a right defenseman, Tyson Barrie, who played with the Nashville Predators. He's coming off a $4.5 million cap hit. In 41 games, he had 1 goal, 15 points, and his projected cap hit is a 1 year at $1.75 million. Now, the biggest thing with Tyson Barrie, he's going to be a pure offensive guy. He's not going to bring you any defensive game. He's going to be a power play quarterback and a guy that can really rush the puck. He is less than desirable on defense, but with the Canucks having guys like Carson Soucy on the left side, he could be a great plug and play on certain matchups. Now, with Tyson Barrie, he is getting up in age at 33 years old. A lot of the guys on this list are getting up on age, but a guy like Tyson Barrie could come in as maybe the 8th, 9th defenseman, a guy that can slide into the lineup if the Canucks need just a boost in offense, maybe a boost in just moving the puck, since they did pick up a lot of tall trees in free agency. But working through this list, I do think there's better options. Tony DeAngelo is basically a Tyson Barrie, but younger at 28 years old. His projected cap hit would be a 2-year deal at $1.75 million, so I'm not going to touch on him as it would just be a Tyson Barrie. Now, you do work your way down and you can see 69th overall ranked Oliver Kylington. Oliver Kylington would be an ideal option. This is a guy that still has room to grow at 27 years old. He played with Calgary coming off a $2.5 million contract. He did go down with an injury, but prior to that, in 33 games, we did see him put up 3 goals, 8 assists, and a projected cap hit of $1.1 million on a 1-year deal. It seems like the Canucks are bringing in a lot of project players that could show their worth. We've seen the Canucks go out and get some bargain end deals, even with Daniel Sprong this season, but I think Oliver Kylington could be the perfect fit. A guy that can move on this left side, a guy that can move the puck. Maybe if Derek Forbort comes out of this lineup, you could see Kylington slide in, play with a guy like Desharnais, someone to move the puck more efficiently and still be young at 27 years old. You can continue working your way down with a guy like Justin Schultz, John Klingberg as 2 more options. 2 of these guys would play similar as well. Justin Schultz is a bit older at 33 years old, 70 points with the Seattle Kraken this year, 7 goals, 26 assists. He would be a nice option, but he may price himself out on a 2-year, $2.4 million deal per year. I think this would be a little rich for the Canucks. They can put Tucker Pullman on LTIR or trade him to clear up this cap space, but I think spending all available cap space on a depth defenseman wouldn't be something that Patrik Allvin is in the works or looking to do. This is where a guy like John Klingberg, as bad of a season as he had with the Toronto Maple Leafs, he could be a good option. John Klingberg, who went down with an injury, had offseason surgery, was signed to a $4.15 million deal by the Toronto Maple Leafs in 14 games, 1 goal, 5 assists, and a projected cap hit of $1.65 million. Now, the biggest thing I kind of want to point out with a lot of these guys, I wouldn't be looking at giving multi-year deals. I wouldn't be looking at giving more than $1.5 million. With this list, there are still a lot of options that teams will be calling on, and I do think Patrik Allvin and the Vancouver Canucks are going to do their due diligence and have a look at a lot of these available options. But what's your guys' thoughts on a lot of these guys? Who would you like them to see? I know a lot of you do say down in the comments a puck-moving defenseman is a must pickup, and there are still some good options. Let me know down in the comments, but we'll get straight into the second topic today, which is Daniel Sprong speaks out. Now, Daniel Sprong came out and said a lot of stuff, so I'm going to go through quite a bit of it. The first quote being, "It was a little hectic the first few days. I think my camp and I had an idea where we were looking, and that kind of didn't really happen on the first few days, and I think that's business. You know, you want to get out there in the market the first couple days, and then after it kind of quiets down and kind of takes a turn. Then I just thought the biggest thing was for me to find a situation where I could be happy and where I'd be good opportunity for me." So Daniel Sprong was obviously signed in a 1-year deal with the Vancouver Canucks, coming in just under $1 million. It was at $975,000, which is one of the biggest bargain pickups in the entirety of the free agency. He continues on to say, I talked to the Vancouver and coach talk, and we really had good conversation on the phone. We've known each other when I got drafted by Pittsburgh, and I played under him when he was an assistant coach. We had a really good talk, and I felt really happy after the call, and the decision was a no-brainer after that. This is actually the second player we've seen come out and say after having a conversation with Rick Tocchet, it was a no-brainer to sign in Vancouver. We've seen this happen with Desharnais and now Daniel Sprong. I'm sure it's happened a lot more, but no one has publicly came out other than these two guys that I'm aware of. Now, obviously, a guy like Rick Tocchet coming in, being a voice of the locker room, being a guy these players trust, a guy the players are looking up to as a former NHL player, as a former assistant coach, as a Stanley Cup winning assistant coach. This guy has really impacted the Canucks, not only on the ice, but off the ice. And seeing players come out, speak out on him, and say the reason why they joined this team was Tocchet being a huge piece is quite massive. I mean, when you look at Daniel Sprong, I won't cover this too much. 76 games played, 18 goals, 25 assists for 43 points. Daniel Sprong is not going to be the best defensive player, which I will touch on shortly, but he's going to come in and be an instant impact on this third, fourth, second, first, whatever line he gets into. This is a guy that scored 18 goals last season, 21 the year before that. We've seen him consistently put up 40 points over and over again. The biggest thing with Daniel Sprong is, of course, his defense, but he did speak out on this. We've seen Daniel Sprong say, I think I just take advantage of my opportunities and the situations I was in. I sometimes think my defense game can be a little bit of weakness, and it was a coach trust in certain situations that affect my ice time. That's something we talked about we're going to work on in Vancouver to gain the trust, be reliable in those situations. I'm working on it over the summer, working on those details. Now, obviously, Daniel Sprong coming in as a great offensive guy, a guy that's willing to work on his defense, is going to be the turning point on this guy's career, and it doesn't end there, and he doesn't want to end his Canucks career just after this year. He goes on, and I won't read all this. I'm hoping Vancouver is not a one-year thing. That's something with the talks we had. It's something that I could really see myself being here long-term, and that's really exciting me. You can see Daniel Sprong continue on just talking about the awesome core they have, and a guy with Quinn Hughes as a top defenseman, a top 5 goalie in Demko, Pettersson, Miller, Boeser, had great years last year. He's seen how well this group worked. He's seen how well the core worked together, how well everyone gelled. And I think this is going to really start attracting a lot more free agents, not only this year, but for the years to come to join this organization. Patrik Allvin has done an awesome job to kind of pry these guys from other teams. We've seen Rick Tocchet be a huge piece on why other players are joining. And with the elite talent around, we're going to see so many free agents joining. But what are your guys' thoughts on this? What's your thoughts on a guy like Daniel Sprong speaking out and what he said on the Canucks? What's your thoughts on some of the available defensemen, and who would you like the Canucks to sign as a depth defenseman, as a puck mover? Let me know down in the comments. But speaking on comments, we'll get in everyone's favorite topic, which is comment of the day. And the comment of the day comes from Mr. The Rising Tide, and he says, 4K subs, and like I said, I want to give a huge shout out. I know we set the goal of 4,000 for Sunday to finally break it, and you guys actually smashed that and got it almost 60 over. I'm sure it's growing since then, so I want to give a shout out to each and one of you, every one of you. Subscribed and not subscribed, if you hate me, if you love me, whatever it is, I want to give a shout out to everyone that is watching these videos. This is kind of a dream of mine to do YouTube. Seeing this community grow just makes it so much better. I'm so happy to be along on this ride with you guys. I'm so happy you're along to join me. So if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to go down and leave a comment on everything I talked about. You could be featured on the next episode's comment today. While you're down there, subscribe, leave a like, share this with your friends. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode, so you don't want to miss out on that one. And I've been your host, Mark Pye. Take care.